yeah, where you have similar projects, where you can share resources or yeah, finance potentially, tools, equipment, people's expertise. So there's a whole raft really on which you could design something like that, or same locality maybe, yeah, production lines for something. And this is normally SPM. Here's, by the way, the points that I was on about. Is normally large projects, mostly strategic in nature, and try often to achieve competitive advantage. Now we have a shift here. If you read like recent Academy of Management papers, they actually say competitive advantage is shifting. We want now as well kind of a competitive, yeah, it's being there. So you are being seen. Yeah, it's a special issue. It's out last month. Yeah, so if you're interested in competitive advantage, and why it may be helpful, why it may not be helpful, there's an interesting debate at the moment. So that is shifting at the moment a little bit. It's as well for the scope of the full-time project manager. So normally those kind of projects you have one project. Yeah? So this can be wonderful. That can be a curve depending on your spin. Then you have several smaller projects. Those may be tactical in nature and are managed in a framework that I will explain in a second. Degree of multiple dependency and rather low, as projects have different goals and objectives, and you have as well a certain frame of freedom there as a project manager. But you often work on one or two based on your expertise. Are you a good person in delivering the project? So often companies, especially when you start being a project manager, you're often getting trained on certain aspects of project manager instead of managing the full project from beginning to end. Yeah? And then last but not least, in a program, projects are mutually dependent and share a common goal or similar resources. I gave you examples before, and that came from the authors below. Now, when you look at that, again, this is trying to simplify it. Project management is in that kind of remit of selection, doing projects right. Yeah? So you as a project manager, you are delivering the project with your given remit, and you're not so much encouraged to kind of look at the indicators of the current portfolio. But having said so, normally project managers start doing that very quickly. As well in my company, I was often worried if we had like in South Africa we have like a wonderful currency that kind of goes with the waves of tourism. So you jump here like healthy 20% of your currency. Other countries have that too. So I would be quite worried at what point I would actually buy my resources for my project, or at what point I would pay. So large companies have actually then traders and people that do material trade deals with guarantees for prices, but still, it started making me very quickly realize that my projects were a little bit as well relying on my portfolio, and those were factors that I couldn't manage. So it's a strange thing. That means you have to be adaptive as a project manager with your approach as well, and explain your team, hey, we may do a great job, but if things shift, we may have to pull the project anyway. So what is project portfolio management then? That is really the interface. And for companies and portfolios, it's doing the right project. And as I've identified earlier, there's a dynamic things. So often you have here the business benefits in mind. This is like at the heart of it. And it often determines then the resources, technical viability, and of course business objectives. Does it still fit that? And again, that is dynamic. So you get as well very good in interpreting markets and the trends that are shown in the news. Now this is a project typology that I referred to earlier. So this is a way that you can, for example, use your this model is ideal for actually matching capacities, so project management capacities And this is kind of the framework, so you look at it in 3 different levels. One at the strategic portfolio classification, then one kind of at the project selection stage, and then one kind of at the well, delivery stage, yeah? So where you actually operationalize your team. And here we have then the user, so top management often looks after the strategic portfolio, and an SME, yeah, where you deliver your projects yourself, a project consultant. Your owner may do this, or you have to do it yourself, yeah, and you may look after other projects. Yeah, so be aware that there's not always those different titles. This depends on the company's size, if that makes sense. Yeah. Then here you have actually NCTP. I explained it in a second. It's novelty, complexity. Well, I'll show you the diagram in a second. It's for the project manager, the tool. Yeah, and then here at the work pages, you come really to project teams, subcontractors potentially, or operational staff as well. Yeah, so people that actually kind of delivered on the front end. Yeah. And here, dimensions, strategic goal user. Here, this is basically NCTP, novelty, complexity, technology, and pace. And then at the work pages, you have the product type, work type, and then the use is at portfolio management. Here, selecting the project, and here, assessing risk and time to be completed of work packages, giving basically the operational side the remit. So very simplified, if you can look at that in terms of external, internal, and operational and strategic. So you have on the operational side kind of internal, yeah, well actually let's start external. So you have product improvement, yeah, this is actually the interface to customer, yeah, hence external, but done operational. And then you have as well on the internal side, the maintenance, improvement, problem solving. There are a lot more. This is as well building capacity, training, practicing, changing setups, you know, playing around to see if you can actually improve the setting for product improvement. Yeah. Then on the strategic side, you have the new product development, which is on the front end, and there may be strategic markets where you see that there is a demand for it. Yeah? So customers have told that they would like the mobile to be smaller again, not so big as we have it at the moment. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, then you quickly go for that. And then you have as well utility and infrastructure and research. So this is kind of on the strategic side, internal. Having said so, nowadays we outsource that as well a lot with university or consultancies. Yeah. Yeah. Now this is kind of again the overview. So to go one further, this is the NTCP model. So it's an evaluation tool for your project. So you kind of rate it. Yeah. So you can go in terms of novelty from breakthrough via platform. Derivative project to the same, yeah, which is in the middle. Then to the other direction, you have or the technology, which can come from super high tech. Yeah, so you have a lot of new components, and there's a lot of iteration in it, or you need to basically integrate it. So high tech, medium tech, and low tech. And then you have as well the complexity notion. This is anything from array to system to assembly, yeah. And then we have as well the pace. Here we start actually at blitz critical, yeah. Then fast competitive, and then regular pace, yeah, whatever that is. But you have to refine that basically to your project settings, if that makes sense, yeah. And then you can of course allocate resources to people that are better with it. So to give you a little bit the notions, assembly, a set of various devices, is combined into a single unit serving a single function. Yeah? System, you probably know that, consistent of elements or subsystems that together build a complex interactive construct. It offers various functions for a specific operational performance then array, a network of large detached systems that combines all the functions for a common goal. Yeah, so you get a little bit the notion. Has anybody worked in assembly projects, or where you recognize kind of like that it went in that direction? A set of various devices combined into a single unit. Yeah. What? Can you tell us the example?
Yeah, flexible pipelines.
Okay.
Oil and gas industry.
Okay. And was it what was the challenge there? Or what?
It was just well bespoke items made for customers, depends on what the function was going to be for, and so everything was designed at how was it assembly line. So it was a process. Every process was different from the creation of set of core to the completion of its event. It needs to go to connect the pipelines up.
Yeah. Okay. So customized design. And then with bespoke features that it could deliver.
Yeah, customers says what they wanted, what they designed, where they're going to be working, what they required, and then the engineers will come up with the designs based on historical data and what's we've worked in the past.
Okay.
They would work the R&D section as well in the early stages and then develop.
Yeah. So you have here really kind of all the departments pulling their string. Yeah. So engineering coming up with a design, kind of informing.
Engineering.
Yeah.
Research development teams.
Yeah. So R&D really updating as well on the latest discoveries that they have, to the design team, and then going to the assembly line. Yeah.
Yeah, when the assembly line was broken down into different processes as well.
Okay. And then again fragmented. Yeah. Very interesting. Then we have the system design. Yeah. This often in major or mega projects, you will see that we go with a similar design actually in. We break the size of the project down in manageable chunks, yeah, and then we often deal as well with systems or assembly notions in complexities. And that brings its own notions. So you have to configure and fine-tune basically the interfaces. That is the biggest challenge for the project manager, really, if you want to get it right. In IT, we do that too, and we actually filter for that. But in IT, we have a wonderful scenario, especially platforms can actually crash. You don't want that with a building, or a car. I mean, not when it kind of is in use, yeah? All I'm saying. So there are different spins to this, yeah? Having said so, as well, past cars crashed, yeah? So be aware of that, yeah? So there's kind of a succession of perceived quality as well implicit, yeah? Thank you very much. Then technology uncertainty, I have just kind of listed this here. We kind of went through that on the table, but it's very intuitional. Then the pace is an interesting one. So regular pace is time is not critical for success, yeah. Or you can kind of plan it out, and it's not necessarily like unforeseen durations where or timelines where you haven't got yet the idea how long it actually will take. Yeah. Then you are fast competitive. This is time-driven, as they initiated to capitalize on market opportunities, strategic advantage. You may try to bring a product out before your competitor, that kind of idea. Yeah. Then critical blitz projects, time is key factor to success. Projects are a result to emergent events that have the potential to deter the organization. Normally, critical blitz projects are associated with kind of disaster management, yeah, or crisis response. But we have here as well colleagues, and last year we had a conference on that, and literature kind of clusters those kind of projects there. But the professor in that field, he kind of pointed out that actually most of our disaster responses are not at that scale. They're actually quite regular. So they normally assemble the resources and then respond. And but once you kind of have heard that and are in disbelief, go back and have a look to the actual news that there was an outbreak or a catastrophe, and then have a look when actually people started collecting money and when the first kind of help appeared. And I was quite shocked about that. But we have a lot of critical blitz projects as well in all kinds of industries. it's often responses to updates, or if something is of critical sense yeah, for example, getting a contract, things like that, then normally we perform quite well on that. There's an interesting one. We have a BIM Academy here. Everybody that does building information modeling or is interested in new ICT solution. We had a hilarious thing where we got from the government who was it? I think it was Bahrain. Please correct me if you know the case that I'm talking about. But Bahrain did a bid for a design of a new city centre with kind of a subway station and like merging into a central station. So it was kind of a complicated mega project designed for construction. Now normally the design teams need, how long do you think a design team would need for something like that? Yeah, yes is the honest answer. Yeah, normally you kind of come with an initial idea, yeah, kind of an initial design after maybe half a year, yeah, but this is committed. So you have maybe as well got resources. So we got that and we run it as a university challenge. Yeah, and how long did the challenge take, do you think?
2 weeks.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks is spot on, yeah? Two weeks. And what was worse is our BIM Academy had 2 teams, so we met actually first and second prize. This is of course why I tell the story. No, so it was a wonderful situation. But there were teams from all over the world, and the worst thing was that the guys in Bahrain, they judged it, and they accepted actually not the first design, but the second design as the one that they really wanted. And then they were outraged and turned around to their department. Why does that always take a year or so? Yeah, and this is of course, this is not how you should like evaluate projects. Yeah, of course we had here in reality 40 students, young motivated people working on it 24/7. Yeah, this is not how you should run your daily operations. Yeah, it's not the regular one. This is what I'm saying. Yeah, but beautiful story, and you know, if you go there and travel, and this was designed by us, by the team. Yeah. Okay, then we have as well product novelty, and this is quite an interesting one. The correlation are not as linear as shown here, so I recommend, especially if you want to apply a model like that, make that work in your company. Yeah, work with your data. Don't just accept the linearity of those models. You have to fine tune there. Yeah. So here 2 dimensions again, simplified. So one is a product change, the other one is a process change. Yeah, and then you see here process change less, incremental change to the process, and then on the other one you have the product change. Here it's new core product again, and then here derivatives and enhancements, so very minor changes. Then you have the type of project along those lines, and you will see that there are associated risks then in your company or in your supply chain. Yeah? So you can map that, how successful it was to come up with the first design. You had that as well with your assessment in a way. You know, you had your first design. Was that already perfect? How many other teams had it actually perfect at that stage? So those are ratios that you would take into consideration. Yeah, and if it's a new core product, a new core process, and it works, of course, then it's a breakthrough project. Then you have your platform projects, and then you have your derivative projects. So this is a little bit the idea. Yeah. So this is really, and that comes from another team. So the combination is really something that has been tried empirically in a few companies, and for a few large companies, this works very well. Yeah. Oh, okay, I've broken it down here as well. The categories that I didn't mention is the R&D projects, which sits kind of on top, yeah. Over the platform project is the R&D investments and activities where high risk and compete for resources with commercial projects. But you have often an iterative process, so you have often lessons learned that filter into your operations, which is very powerful. And the other one that I didn't have there is the alliance and partnership. This is like a long-term commitment to increasing, for example, your process. These can take the form of any kind of project, either commercial or development. Yeah, and those are different remits, if you want, that kind of add a spin to your project level. Yeah. So R&D projects, again, in PACE can be probably quite quick. You need solutions, maybe of a technology that hasn't yet been invented. Yeah, this is actually happening. This is actually quite common. Yeah, that we have to make something. I shouldn't really say it that way, but that we have to make something up. Yeah, and you ask your engineers, hey, have we got a solution for this? And yeah, it can be that there isn't yet anything. Then you have to come up with a model that kind of fills that space or find a different process. Yeah, but that is maybe in a PACE one. An alliance and partnership is a long-term idea, of course, where you kind of have the long-term remit and you really try to get the benefits right. So your project can even fail if you have learned a lesson, that doesn't work. This may be actually in the long run as well a good thing to establish. Yeah. Okay. Shall we have a short break?
Yes.